insomniacs all over the world, their word was gospel. Faithless were and are one of the defining bands of the 90s rave scene, a time when it was perfectly normal to dance like this.
The cultural phenomenon, outdoor raves are a British export.
Now they're back with their first live performances in 8 years. They'll play across Europe and in June here at Camden's Roundhouse, where we meet Faithless's Sister Bliss.
For us mere mortals who just don't headline festivals and, you know, play in front of thousands and thousands of people, just sum up, what is the excitement like when you walk out on stage?
It's the most amazing feeling. It does feel like you're in front of thousands of friends. I kind of tend to personalise it and I pick out faces in the crowd, and it's the most enormous pleasurable buzz. It really is a beautiful thing. I've been very lucky to experience it many, many times in my career with Faithless and as a DJ as well. And then when you start playing and you play and you become one organism, that is also incredibly exciting.
But while ravers rejoice, this reunion is bittersweet. This will be the first time Faithless return to a major stage without their lead singer, Maxi Jazz. In 2022, the band announced Maxi had died peacefully in his sleep. He was just 65.
I just wondered if we can ask how you're kind of feeling about doing it without him.
Very nervous, but also excited because I feel like we're carrying his energy and his spirit into the show. It is a tribute to Max and everything that he brought to music. And I think people really need that communion and feeling of togetherness because we live in such a divided, difficult world at the moment.
With hits like God is a DJ, dance music was their church, and Holy Communion happened at Glastonbury, where this summer Faithless will return. While there's much euphoria, Sister Bliss vividly remembers a time when sexism was blatant.
What I would say about the DJ industry is it's pretty opaque. I only found out myself by accident that I wasn't paid sort of parity with other male DJs, and this is when Insomnia was a huge hit all over the world, and I was really shocked when I found out what the gap was.
Part of the dance culture known as the rave scene.
In the 80s and 90s, raves were an act of rebellion, a time when spirits were high and so was anti-establishment sentiment.
Against the backdrop of Thatcher's Britain, and people were very disenfranchised and disconnected, and actually they were experiencing huge communal moments that were full of peace and love. You know, it was quite extraordinary to be part of it, whether facilitated with drugs or not. There were plenty of people that weren't on drugs, but it did feel like a wave, a social movement that was in reaction to this "there's no such thing as society" statement at the time. And so people created their own church, their own places of communion.
While there is much nostalgia about 90s hedonism, it was time to do some sober fact-checking, straight from our reliable source.
Did you really get no sleep in the 90s?
Not much.
Really?
Not much, yeah, it was absolutely. Walked into the studio because I was DJing 4 or 5 nights a week. I said, we've got to do a tune, we're going to call it Insomnia because I can't get no sleep. And we just said to Max, go away and write about that. And the irony was that Max could sleep at the drop of a hat. He was the most expert sleeper. It was one of the most beautiful things about him, is his ability to just literally have a little power nap anywhere, anytime. But he went away and wrote those lyrics because he was reminded of a time he had an abscess on his tooth, and the lyrics were inspired by that, actually. So that was a time when he couldn't get any sleep, and he came in with the lyrics that we had no idea at the time would become this kind of enduring anthem through the decades.
Sleep-deprived days remembered through a rose-tinted lens.
I can't get